Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Jacob and Jacob podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Hare, joined by my co-host, Jacob Orblom, and today we are honored to be joined by former NFL player and founder of Ice Shaker, Chris Gronkowski. Thanks for being with us today, Chris.
Hey, what's up, Double Jacobs?
So Chris, before we get into the interview, what new hobbies have you picked up during quarantine?
Man, one of them that I picked up that I never thought I would do is running. So I started just waking up early and started with walks,
Mhm.
and that turned into running. And I ran a mile for the first time since high school,
Nice.
which turned into 2 miles to 3 miles. Got up to 4. That's kind of when I capped out for now. But no, I run probably 2 or 3 times a week now, which I never thought I'd do. So that's definitely a new hobby for me, and kind of like it. So I might continue to do it as well.
Nice. You ever see yourself maybe doing a marathon one day?
Man, 26 miles, 26.2 is that's crazy to me. I could see something maybe a half or something like that. If my kids get into it or something like that, but I would need someone to push me to that level for sure.
So you said you need someone to push you to the next level. You have four brothers. What was it like growing up with all four of a very athletic family? You and your four brothers, Dan, Glenn, Rob, and Gordy. What were the family events like? Just tell us everything.
Man, there was we weren't allowed at most family events, so it usually became Thanksgiving and Christmas only where we really saw our cousins and stuff like that because it was tough. It was mayhem. Having 5 boys for my parents, that was crazy. We didn't really go out to eat. We didn't really go anywhere besides sporting events because that's really the only place that could control us. But no, every day was a competition. Every day was a fight as well. Usually started with a fight, ended with a fight, and we were always outside. We were always doing something active, and our parents just pushed us away from the TV. We couldn't sit at home and just watch TV. They wanted us to get the energy out, so they threw us in the backyard. We'd be that house that everyone came to. All of our friends would be over, and it was us five, plus 5 friends each and every day. And we had like the coolest neighborhood ever, where everyone was kind of just our age, and it was a lot of boys for the most part as well. So we just always had something going on.
Would you say that sort of competitive brother rivalry continues today?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that we kind of took that and really used it to generate, competitiveness towards others, like for business and stuff like that now. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of more support for each other now instead of trying to beat each other down or beat them at every single thing. We're more about just helping each other out and supporting each other in our different businesses and ventures at this point.
So obviously your brother Rob, famous for the Gronk spike. Was he always doing that as a kid, or was that something that he started doing during the NFL?
Man, so that was the backyard football where you'd have to throw down if you scored a touchdown. So we used to do the big spikes. We grew up Bills fans and doing all that. So uh, we always wanted to. I think it all kind of just built up because in college you can't celebrate at all. You just got to put the ball down, and so like this huge excitement just built up from it. And I actually threw down the first Gronk spike the week before him in my second game in the NFL. So he stole it from me the next week, and he kind of got known for it. But you got to go back and check the tape because I threw down the first massive Gronk spike in week 2 of 2010.
All right.
So you obviously went undrafted, and then you signed with the Dallas Cowboys. Tell us how you sort of ventured through your NFL career and how it sort of led into your entrepreneurial business post NFL career endeavors.
Yeah, for sure. So I ended up going undrafted, which for my position was kind of expected. A couple guys did get drafted late. Usually maybe 2 or 3 fullbacks will go. So didn't have a ton of expectation to get drafted. It ended up being kind of a blessing for me because what most people don't realize is when you get drafted, you don't get to pick what team you go to. You're just selected by whatever team wants you. And a lot of times you get put into a tough situation where maybe you're behind a couple guys, behind a starter who's really good, and they kind of just picked you up to be a practice squad guy or a backup. So what was good about going undrafted was I got to pick where I was going. Had a really good agent, and he put me into a really good situation. And even at that, being undrafted, it's a one and done. You have this one opportunity, this one shot to make that team. And if you don't, it's pretty much over for you in that position. You don't get a second chance like a drafted player would. So that was my mindset going into it. I knew that an undrafted free agent hadn't made the Dallas Cowboys roster in over 10 years. So I was lucky to get partnered up with a roommate that I actually had in college, and he was undrafted as well. And we kind of made this pact on day one that we were going to do everything that we possibly could to make the team. And we both ended up being on the 53-man roster on week one.
That's amazing. So that really was a blessing in disguise for both of you.
Yeah. So absolutely, man. We kind of had that underdog mentality, and we were both similar personalities, and we were just going to do everything we possibly could that summer to be the best we could be. So I was able to make the roster. Started for that year with Cowboys, ended up going to the Colts, the Broncos, and ended with the Chargers in camp. I got hurt, and my career was over after that. So at that point, I actually got super lucky. Most guys have a very tough time transitioning. You play one sport your whole life. That's really all you know. You've never worked any other jobs for the most part, besides little things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So most guys struggle. It's hard to go from making this big paycheck to working maybe for 60,000 a year, when some guys are making more than that a week. So guys struggle with it. It's tough. It's hard to find your next passion as well. But I got lucky. My wife started a company when I was in my third year with the Broncos, and it started doing really well. And I kind of got to see that happen. And as I was signing with the Chargers, I got to work on her company, and it really started to take off. So when I got hurt, I went back into that. It kind of just exploded, and we were making more money with her company than I was playing in NFL. So it was a really smooth transition for me. I got to kind of grow this company, scale it, really get my feet wet, and that's when I thought of the idea for Ice Shaker. So I was about 5 years into her company when I thought of this idea, and I didn't need to do it. I really did it because I wanted the product for myself. I was super passionate about it. I was working out every day, and I said, hey, this is her passion. She loves it. It's making us a lot of money, but really at the end of the day, I love to do what I love to do. And that's why I went and started Ice Shaker.
So can you tell us a little bit about your product, Ice Shaker, and how the idea became about it?
Yeah, for sure. So I live in Texas now, and I was going to the gym probably twice a day sometimes. And I go to work, I bring one bottle. I go to the gym, I bring another bottle. I come home, I use another bottle. I travel, and I bring another bottle. So I was like, hey, why don't I just make one bottle that I could use all day, every day for everything that I did? And that was kind of the goal. I wanted something that I could bring to the gym and mix powders in, mix protein shakes in, pre-workout, whatever it was, that would still keep my drink cold, but then I could, fill it up with water and bring it to work and not have to worry about it spilling on my keyboard. And then, jump in the pool with it, jump on the airplane with it, bring it to the kids' games. Like really, I just wanted this one cup that I could use all day, every day for everything I had. So that was the goal. I went home, tried to find something similar. There was really nothing out there. There's other insulated bottles, there's a ton of them. There's really nothing that was easy to fill, easy to clean, and easy to mix powders in. And so that was kind of the goal at that point. Let's make that ultimate cup. And it was a grind, man. Lots of ups and downs, but I took about 20 prototypes to get something that I thought was decent. And now when I look back on it, it was very basic at the time. We've made it a lot better since, but it got us started, and that's what we needed. So from there, it was just let's figure out a way to sell this thing, which was also a long process as well.
How would you say your sort of NFL career and the challenges and the ups and downs you faced on the football field helped you going into your business career?
Man, I think it's very similar for an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, it's ups and downs all day, every day. Everything depends on you. If you put the long hours in, the hard work, you're going to be successful, just like you would be on the field. It's not as much physical, but football has a lot of mental as well. You have to be able to. Let me decline this call real quick. You have to be able to, you study in football, study your opponents. For business, it's you're studying your competition, you're studying the market, you're studying your customers. So you have to be smart, book smart as well, but you have to be willing to work hard, and you have to be super passionate about what you're doing, because it's a ton of ups and downs in business. And everyone that's working for you, they're on a salary. They're comfortable, but as a business owner, it's, if you're losing money, it's coming out of your pocket. If you're making money, it's going in your pocket. So you have to be super responsible with everything, including your cash, because that's a huge responsibility for yourself, but also for all the people underneath you that you're providing jobs for.
So your product, Ice Shaker, was on Shark Tank. Can you give us a little description of the experience when you went on Shark Tank and everything that just inspired you to be on Shark Tank?
Yeah, so I got super lucky. I had this email in 2013, and it was asking for former or current NFL players to try out for the show, basically. I responded back to that when I had this product. It was about 4 years later, and sent in the submission video, and was lucky enough that they loved it. Videos, yeah, I kind of knew that the idea of the show was, it was business, but it's also an entertainment show at the end of the day. So I made this video very entertaining, and they ended up liking it. So it was still a long process to actually get on the show. A lot of paperwork later, a lot of preparation. I watched every single episode. I knew every single question, and then I had the chance to go on. One thing that most people don't know is that even when you record, or even when you get there to record, sometimes you still don't. If they have some really good companies on before you, they might just push you. I was lucky. I was the first one on that day. I think having my brothers on definitely helped as well. And went on there, and I was able to get offers from all 5 sharks on the show. We locked up a deal with Mark Cuban and Alex Rodriguez, and it was amazing. I mean, it really is what they say it is. The exposure's real, the money's real, it goes into your account. They become real investors in the company, and what also is real is how much work has to be done after that, because you don't just go and sit on a private island like some people think you do. Our business probably 10x or 50x overnight. And at that point, it was still being done out of my house, or out of a storage unit for the most part. So didn't really have any employees, and just really had to learn quick and figure out so much basically overnight. And then after that ended, it was all about, how do we continue this? How do we keep this wave going? Because Shark Tank's amazing. It lasts. The first week is insane. But the effects of it definitely last for a couple months. And after that, it's all on you. Then it becomes real. Then it becomes, how do I keep this going? How do I keep the momentum skyrocketing? Because for most companies, if you don't know how, you're just going to dip, and it's going to completely fall off.
So you picked Alex Rodriguez, former MLB superstar, and Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. Did their sports background have any factor in your decision to pick those two?
Absolutely. With the product and what it is, I just felt like they would have a really good handle on it. I felt like they would know where it would belong, and really help me to get it into those markets. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a sports product, and I knew they would be using one, or their players would be using one, or the friends, family, anyone who's living an active and healthy lifestyle like them, would know all about the product. So I was pretty excited to lock those two up as partners.
How have they helped you in your business career? Have they given you loads of advice? Have they really helped the product take off?
Yeah. So what's really cool about Mark is that, uh, you know, he was in it 8 seasons before I got on. So I got season 9. So he had already built out a full team, and he probably had at least 60 Shark Tank companies in the Mark Cuban portfolio already at that time. So uh, Mark's whole, reason for being on the show is to help entrepreneurs live the American dream, and that's what he's all about. That's what he's been like since day one, as well for me. So it's been a huge help. What I really like about it is networking. I have an advisor from them, or consultant, and I'm also able to ask him any questions I want. But I'm also able to connect with these 60 other companies in his portfolio, and that's huge. We like to share information. We like to help each other out, and you're not paying someone for that. I do. Yeah, I like to return the favor as well back to them, and it's just this awesome group of amazing companies that have went through similar situations, and we can all benefit from. So I think that has been absolutely huge with partnering with Mark. With Alex, it was more promo. So it was his first time. He was a guest shark on the show, I might be the only company that he made a deal with and went through with. So, he didn't have the same team built out or anything like that. He was able to help a lot more with promotion of the product and then getting us into some of his gym chains that he's a part of.
So how have you sort of continued to develop your connections in the business world beyond just with Mark Cuban, obviously you partnered with him on Shark Tank? How have you further exercised your connections?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot to reach out. LinkedIn's awesome.
Yeah.
I like to personally reach out and anytime with anyone. I like to reach out if I think there's a similar connection or similar demographic. So I do a lot of outreaching myself. We have a really cool podcast as well called Gronk Up. It was a really good opportunity to also network. It's great for marketing and getting our name out there and all that. And it's also really great for bringing on awesome people that we think we can work with as well, and introduce ourselves to them and tell their story to our following. So that has been a really, really cool and unique way as well. Also speaking in groups with COVID and everything that's happened, it's actually opened up so many opportunities with different things. I'm doing a ton of podcasts because it's easy. Everyone's now kind of accepted that you do it through Zoom, and that's kind of how it is. So podcasts, but also just speaking to groups. There's a bunch of groups, entrepreneurship groups, all kinds of groups throughout the U.S. And a lot of them, I'm actually speaking on one tonight at 9 p.m. They're a West Coast based one, but being able to speak to people and really answer their questions and connect with them is huge. We can't do it in person right now, but we're able to do it over Zoom, and that connection is amazing. Once you make a connection with somebody and you really get to know them, that's the best connection you can have. So I've got a lot out of just being able to go into groups and speak, or doing Q&As and stuff like that with them has been huge as well.
Well, Chris, one last thing before we wrap it up. Do you have anything else you'd like to add about the company? Anything else?
Man, I mean, I can tell you where to find me at, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can find me at Chris Gronkowski on Instagram, Twitter. I don't know if TikTok's still around, but I'll post on there every once in a while if it still is. And we're pushing really, really into everything, LinkedIn, YouTube, stuff like that as well. We're not as active, but I'm definitely on there. At iceshaker.com is our product. At Ice Shaker Bottle on all the social handles is where you can find the company at. And yeah, and definitely check out Gronked Up as well. If you're listening to podcasts like this, you'll find ours in similar spots as well. So on every platform, check it out. It's all about really just bringing value through business, sports, fitness, nutrition, anything you could think of that we think we could bring value on, we do on the Gronk podcast.
And we're also going to add the link to Ice Shaker in the description of this video, so everyone should check it out.
Make sure you check out Chris's product. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
Well,
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for joining us today, Chris. We really appreciate talking to you, and good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Stay safe.